Hello beautiful people, hope you're good. You're welcome to my channel. If you're joining me for the first time, what I do here, I talk about life related issues which are designed to inspire a positive change by changing the narrative from my little corner. And I consider this change of narrative a process. My name is Uche Akomas and you're welcome to Thought Central with Uche. Please, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, could you kindly subscribe now? And of course, turn on the notification bell so that once I release new videos, you will get notifications. You can follow me on Instagram at Uche Jessica Akomas, at Uche Jessica Akomas, UCHEJESSICAAKOMAS. Alright, so today is going to be interesting as we're going to ask those questions we need to ask our intended before marriage. I did say that I will bring up this series where we'll talk about questions that we need to ask our intended, the questions we need to ask, and I have a lot of them. But the truth is a lot of people go into marriage without asking certain questions. And these things go into marriage to wait for them and stare them hard in the face. So what are those questions you need to ask your intended? Those hard questions. Do you have a case of STI or STD at some point? Discuss it. Anything that you know that is capable of affecting your marriage. Anything that you know that probably happened in your past that is capable of affecting your marriage, you need to discuss that. And that brings me to the next point, number 9, which is past life, past experiences, presence of baby daddies, baby mamas. You need to discuss this. Do you have children? Do you have kids with another man? Do you have kids with another woman? Did was there any form of engagement? Were you engaged to a man? Did you engage a woman? Did you have a traditional marriage somewhere? Talk about these things and let your intended know. Yes, so there is no point to hide anything because sooner or later the truth shall be revealed. So you need to discuss your past experiences. How about your parents? How about your siblings? Are they going to live with you? Will your siblings come to live with you in your matrimonial home? Will your parents come to live with you? Will they visit? Okay, I'm having so much distractions in my environment. I'm so sorry for that. Okay, so would you want your parents to live with you? Would you want your siblings to live with you? Talk about these things because it causes a lot of problems for some married couples. So another one is conflict, mentors and respected authorities, third-party involvement or non-involvement. When you have issues in your marriage, who do you go to? Who do you talk to? Who do you discuss your marital problems with? Do you have mentors? Who are your mentors? Do you have respected authorities in your life? Would you want to involve a third party in your marital problems? Or do you want to resolve it with yourself or among yourselves? You need to talk about these things. Job and career. Do you want a career housewife? I don't like calling that career housewife. Do you want a stay-home wife? Yes. Do you want a stay-home wife, or do you want a career woman for a wife? Or will she do business? Sorry, excuse me. My throat is getting dry. Okay, so do you want an Oriako? So in Igbo land, there is what we call Oriako. Oriako is a married woman staying in her husband's house and enjoying the wealth of her husband. While Odoziako, while Odoziako is the one that helps to bring in the wealth. So do you want an Oriako or do you want an Odoziako? Alright, so you need to talk about these things. Should your wife accept a job or appointment outside the country, outside your state of residence? Is it okay for your husband to accept a job offer that would take him out of your state or where you're residing or out of the country? You need to discuss all of these things. Another one is domestic staff and help. Should we bring in domestic help? Do we need to get help? What gender should we bring in? Do you want to have a domestic help when you get married? What gender, what sex? Is he a male or a female? Okay, what boundaries do you want to establish for him or her? You need to discuss this. And another one is pets. Pets, they cause wahala for marriage. You see some people who don't like dogs. The sight of dogs irritates them. You see people that want to have snakes. I have seen someone that called snake a pet. So you need to discuss all these things. Do you like pets? What kind of pets do you want to keep when you get married or have when you get married? Okay, so vision, dreams, goals, and aspirations. Now, before that lady becomes your wife, there is something. She is first an individual, and God has put in a lot of things, has deposited a lot of things for her to give to her world, for her to bless the world with. So what are her dreams? What are her aspirations? I say this all the time, that marriage is not the place dreams should be killed. A woman's dreams should be killed. A woman should not get married and that will be the end of her dream. It is wrong. It is not good. So, sir, brother, what are your intended aspirations? What are her dreams? What does she want to achieve? What do you, the man, want to achieve? What are you pursuing? What are you aiming at? What do you want to do with your life? This will help you both be on the same page. And when this kind of conversations happen, to a large extent, you understand whether you need to continue or go your separate ways. Because some years ago, I met this brother. We're just very good friends, and we were talking one day, and he knows I study theater arts, and he has seen some of my monologues as kids, here and there. And he said he wouldn't want me to act. And I told him, see, I'm a thespian. I study theater arts, and I did not study it by accident. I opted for it. And at some point, I would want to go into acting. Not necessarily secular, but I want to do something to promote the gospel, And he said, I don't want, an actress. I don't want to marry an actress. I said, okay, fine, because I plan to go into acting at some point in my life, God willing. So thank God that conversation happened at the friendship level, and we can still remain friends. So you need to ask this person, what are her plans? What are her dreams? Will you fit into her dreams? Will you fit into her future plans? Will you fit into his future plans? Somebody wanted to matchmake me with a business guy, and I know that. And the guy said he wants a lady that would be, helping his business. And I said, sorry, I'm not into buying and selling like full time. I'm such a career woman, So you need to ask all these questions, okay? Be very, very honest with each other. Okay, so home management, house chores. That one they cause wahala. Who does what? Or is it the work of the wife alone? Who does the cleaning? Who does the cooking? Can we alternate cooking sometimes? Can you take some days to cook for the family? Yes. Who says that a woman's place is in the kitchen? The guy can help out. The husband can help out once in a while. And, just like in the story I shared earlier on, some men just stay in the house and the wife does everything. They will not lift a finger. Uncle, if you help your wife out, it will not change your gender. It will not stop you from being the head of the home. That's the truth. Just help out. Act of service is good. And it helps you in bonding with your wife. So you need to talk about home management, house chores, who does what and who helps out with what. Parenting. Children need to be trained. They need guidance, they need discipline, they need mentoring, they need coaching, and they need to become responsible adults, kind, people. So both of you need to discuss upfront how you want to train, discipline, and correct your children, so you'll be working with one mind. You don't want to say, sit down there, tell your son or your daughter to sit down there, and daddy comes, your husband tells him to stand up, or she's to tell her to stand up. You need to collaborate, because it's partnership. Marriage is partnership, it's collaboration. So you need to decide how you want to correct your children. Are you going to set boundaries? Are you going to put some structures in the house, in the home? What structures are you going to put in the home for your children? How are you going to train your children? How are you going to raise your children? How will you discipline them if they step out of the line, if they, just misbehave? So you have to agree with this young man or with this woman you want to get married to, how you want to raise your children. Conflict management. Conflicts abound in marriage. Conflicts abound in every human relationship. I mean, because your thought pattern and my thought pattern are totally different. So there is bound to be disagreements. There are bound to be misunderstandings. There are bound to be conflicts. But how do you manage your conflict? Do you sweep it under the carpet? Or maybe have sex, make up sex, but the issue is not, resolved? How do you want to handle it? How do you want to handle conflict? How do you want to manage conflict in the home? Will you one party resort to beating, insulting, and talking down on the other party? Or would you sit down like reasonable adults and talk about the issues and find a solution to your problems? You need to discuss. For me, I will always say that it's good that you build that friendship so that you are able to tell each other anything and everything and not withhold or hold back, and be open to accept feedback. If you have to correct your partner, correct the person in love. Okay? I know I never married my own. I'm also talking to myself too. Okay, so values to uphold as a family. The values to pass on to your children. What values do you want your children to have? What values do you want to leave for your children? What values do you want to uphold as a family, as a unit? Do you teach your children? Do you want to teach your children the value to obey God's word, to do justice and what is right, to teach them to respect, teach them to be kind, to teach them to be faithful, that hard work pays, to be diligent in what they do? What values do you want to pass on to your children? You need to discuss this with your intended. Okay, and also the value of teamwork, and so on and so forth. Leadership. Every institution, has one form of leadership or another, and marriage is also part of it. So who makes the final decision? Is it the man, or do you agree? Do you make the decisions in your home, or the wife makes the decision in the home? The man is the head of the wife, so the Bible says. So should he be the one making the decisions all the time? Or will he make decisions and carry the wife along? Or he says, this is how I want it and that is final. And he doesn't even care what the wife needs to say or has to say. So you need to discuss how you make your decisions, all right, in the home. Views on issues of life. What are your views on the issues of life? Things happening in the society. Things happening in the society have actually become so necessary to know the views, the opinions, and perspective of the person you want to marry. We hear of, I want to remember what's trending now. I can't remember. But we know the things happen in society. Okay, somebody goes on social media and starts insulting the husband, calling him. So what is your vision for your marriage? What do you want to achieve with your marriage? What drives your marriage? What foundation are you going to build your marriage on? On the Word of God, on worldly values or worldly views? What do you want to achieve with your marriage as a couple? Marriage is like a building project. You will need a blueprint if the building project will be successful. So you have to design the kind of marriage you want. You have to paint a picture of your marriage, have a vision for your marriage, because it gives you focus. It gives you direction and a template to navigate your marital journey successfully. When you don't have a plan, when you don't have a focus, you you can be swayed any direction. So what do you want to achieve with your marriage? What is the plan for your marriage? You need to talk about these things. Now, these are just some of the questions that I feel you need to ask your intended. They're very hard questions because these questions will bring up a lot of things that you need to know. When you're asking people questions, you get to know how their mind works. You get to know what they stand for, what is really important to them as individuals and as marriage or relationship or courtship is concerned. The courtship is a period you ask questions. You don't assume. You ask many questions as much as you can. So have this discussion. Having this discussion is very important because it will give you the template to work with when you eventually marry, when you agree on what you want to do and what you want to achieve in your marriage. Many people have a hard time, in their marriages because they fail to ask these deep questions, because they fail to have these honest conversations prior to marriage, and they go in and start having issues. And then sometimes they go on social media and asking, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I tell my husband this? I'm like, hey, but you should have had this conversation with your husband. Okay, so to have this kind of, to have these discussions, please don't make it an interrogation. Don't make it look as if you're interviewing your intended. Okay, let it be, friendly atmosphere. Maybe you watch a movie and you see some things, you discuss it, you chip it in your conversations, in your jokes. People say that when you joke, people tell the truth or be themselves when they're telling jokes, when you're cracking jokes. So when just make the atmosphere very, very interesting, very lovely, very sweet, and ask the questions, but don't make it look as if you're interrogating the man or the woman. Okay, so don't ask the whole questions at once. All this, what do you think about divorce? What is married to you? What is this? What is that? What is sexual preference? Oh no, please don't do that. Okay, so take it easy. Ask them one after the other in different conversations, in your chit chats, maybe you're watching a movie together. Maybe something happens in the movie. Oh, like, what do you think about that guy? He's even a baby daddy and he didn't tell his girlfriend, he didn't tell his wife to be, and all of that. So look for opportunities to ask questions. You can even, manufacture stories. You can, weave your questions around stories. Just tell stories and ask your questions. All right. What do you think about a woman having an abortion? What do you think about a woman having a child outside of wedlock? What do you think about a man having low sperm count and not telling his wife, and then they get married and the wife gets to know and it's causing a lot of problem? Like, okay, but he should have told the wife. Have this kind of conversations. All right, you know how it is. Okay, don't bombard your intended with all these questions. Okay, let it come gradually, different ways. Be creative in asking all these questions. For those that are courting, don't joke with your courtship. Courtship is not the time you have sex with that person to test if the person is suitable. It's a time to ask questions, okay? And if you don't ask the right questions, you'll be choked in marriage. You go here and for marriage. So do what you need to do at the right time so that you will not get into that place, get into marriage and begin to, question yourself and second guess yourself and even your partner. These are some of the questions that I have come up with. If you have some questions that maybe I did not ask or I left out, please, the comment section is for you right below to ask. And I'd like to know what you think about this particular video. I really love to read your comments. I really love to know your thoughts on this video, and please hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please can you give me a like? Yeah, the thumb up. And please don't forget to share my video with your family and friends. You can follow me on Instagram at Uche Jessica Akomas, UCHEJESSICAAKOMAS. That's my Instagram handle. I like to, get to know you. I like to have my family here. Help your sister grow, help this ministry blossom. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you can get notifications when I share more of these videos. Tell me you picked something today from this particular episode. I'd like to read your comments below. Okay, so I come your way again, God willing, in the next video. My name is Uche Akomas. Stay blessed. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. I love you.